Hello, manifestors. This is Aya of the Dawn, and I'm starting to come down off of my Blue Lotus trip I was on. Starting to feel like more normal than like super euphoric. Okay, so we're going to clap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to smudge for you. It's my Blue Lotus herbal blend. Feels nice. Tastes really good with the sage. Okay, and now we're going to focus on this Sri Yantra. Manifestors. 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 The thing that came up was go into your heart. Manifestors, go into your heart. And that's leading me to see that maybe you're living more in your head and just trying to do what you got to do to get things done. Go into your heart. Instead of feeling, maybe you numb yourself. Manifestors, because there's some things that some truths that you don't want to even reveal to yourself. How are you guys doing? I'm sorry, I just got right into it. I'm getting right into it. I usually like talk, but this is probably a nice change of pace as well. Manifestors. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So you got some very like non-grounded cards here. The full moon is about clarity, but I also feel like it's a celebratory card. You know, the light is shining on part of the truth in your life. So, and maybe you're seeing what you want to see. Instead of looking at the darkness, you're choosing to focus on the good. And this is the Earth card. And that's leaving you feeling not very grounded. Not making very grounded decisions when it comes to your manifestations. Your manifestations seem to be like a bit shoddy because you have like a selective clarity. Your efforts aren't grounded onto the earth the way they need to be. And it's interesting when you talk about manifestation. We can want a lot of things, but there's definitely a difference between fantasy and like actualization. And what will cause you to not get the things that you want is maybe you didn't do the work to get it, like lay the groundwork, the earth. So you could be like barking up the wrong tree, trying to skip steps. The earth is also a representation of the magician. And so maybe some people nowadays are into doing earth magic and your spells aren't working. Maybe you're, because the magician and the traditional tarot card deck reverse basically means that you're like a deceiver, trying to pass something off as whole when it's incomplete, not being honest with yourself and your own world and your own psyche, telling partial truths. And then see, we have Gemini here. Gemini energy is all about mental creativity and bringing it to life. So you have some really genius ideas that, if they were manifested, would be great, but the foundation that you're laying or how you're starting off isn't really going to help these manifestations last. It looks like you'll be able to see a little bit, like it'll take off, but then it won't last, and you'll be frustrated, and you might even have to start all over. So let me pull a chakra card for you to see what's going on inside Manifestor. Woo. Man, the my mental clarity goes with these when the blue lotus starts to, like, my mind, to my mouth is like I have to think about it, because maybe the blue lotus doesn't want me to be thinking and be logical. I'm gonna explore this after I get done with you guys, what's going on. Because usually lately when I've been smoking the blue lotus flowers in my herbal blend, I haven't been doing this. I haven't been making any videos or trying to really focus on anything. I've been like just in my energy and letting it talk to me, and or going to sleep or laying down listening to music and just relaxing. So trying to do this while the blue lotus is wearing off is different. It's a different experience. I feel drunk. Do I look drunk? Manifestor. Manifestor. Ooh, the heart. Okay, look at this picture. It's gorgeous. You got a mama duck and a baby duck. A chick. Do you feel okay, so the card is responsibility, and the number is 23 for those of you who are into numbers, numerology. So the 2 is balance and 3 is creativity. And that's kind of what we were just talking about, like grounding your mind, your psychic life, and bringing it down to earth so that you can actually have a balanced creation. And the card is responsibility, and it says, do you feel unable or unwilling to respond to life at this time? Are you blaming others for what has happened? If others are responsible, does that mean you don't have to be? If you don't trust your ability to respond, take a moment. Why did I just laugh at that? If others are responsible, does that mean you don't have to be? Why did that make me laugh? I think that was super self-righteous. I think that was very self-righteous of me to laugh at that, because I have areas in my life where I could be more responsible for myself. So I don't know why I just laughed at that. Maybe it's because I'm just kind of like a hippie right now, and I'm just laughing at stuff. I don't get it. If you don't trust your ability to respond, take a moment to really sink into these feelings and notice the other side. Your limiting beliefs about yourself hold within them sacred truths about your natural ability to respond to whatever shows up in your life. Claim your experiences as your own. Don't let them go by. Now, I think that's really interesting in combination with the cards that we just got and what we were just talking about. because I feel like the need to escape is the, you know, you want to turn a blind eye. This is saying that you want to turn a blind eye to your responsibilities because maybe you don't trust yourself to be able to respond to your world appropriately. And I can relate to that. Like, I have been dealing with that within myself, learning to basically have my trust that I'll have my own back. Part of being a narcissistic abuse survivor, maternal narcissist abuse survivor, is that I didn't get a chance to grow into that naturally, and I know that a lot of people in our society didn't, but my narcissistic mother would often cut me down to size and take away my ability to take care of myself. Like, I was naturally good at making money. She would take my money and pay the bills with it and promise to pay me back, but wouldn't. I would sign up to learn things and get certifications for things at a young age because I was always very mindful that one day I was going to have to take care of myself. My mother did not have to train me to think that way. I was already very responsible as a young child, and I wasn't afraid of responsibility. I knew I had to prepare for it. But a symptom of narcissism is abandonment issues, and what they'll do to keep you right where you're at and never leave them is that they will cut off your resources, whether that be people, places, things, and even your own soul. They'll cut you off from your connection so that you won't be able to move and control your life, you know. And so now at the age of 30, I'll be 37 next week. Happy birthday to me. At the age of 37, I'm still rebuilding myself. And I think it almost has been like 7 or 8 years since I started my healing process. And I read somewhere a long time ago when I first started that the healing process would most likely take like 10 years. And so here we are, you know, with me just starting to feel normal, but still trying to get back to my natural ability to respond to life. And so I definitely can relate to these struggles. After a while, you begin to be afraid to take care of yourself. But I know that's not what it's talking about for you manifestors. This must be a special situation because you guys are don't have any problem with handling your life and taking responsibility. So this must be something that is new. You know, it must be something that is something you're not used to. You know, when I see this Gemini sparkling green energy with this earth energy and the full moon, yeah, I definitely get the feeling that this is something that you asked for, but you're not prepared. You have it. It's coming. It's here. It's in your grasp. But maybe you have other things in your life that may be preventing you from being able to take hold and take charge. And so it's up to you how you handle it. Once you can get over the fear of taking responsibility, then you can think clearly about your options of how to handle it. Like, once you can kind of like get used to the idea, okay, it's me, I have to do this. Okay, like have a pep talk with yourself and get the courage. Be like, okay, if I were to be able to do this, how would I do it? And sometimes you have to do reverse psychology on yourself in that way. Okay. So feel free to sign up and join me on Patreon every month. This month we have our 12th house herbal blend that we're going to use for tea and for a salve. And for more details, you can check out my website, eyeofthedon.com. If you don't want to join Patreon, you can buy it on my website, pre-order, because it's not going to be ready until maybe like the 3rd or 4th, or I know the tincture I'm making will be ready November 11th, but me sending it out, it might be the end of that week or so, or maybe the next week after that. So maybe like the 3rd week in November, I'll send that out for you. Also, I do readings, tarot readings, astrology readings, which I really love doing nowadays. I love doing astrology readings. You can just get like a 60-minute astrology reading from me, just like you would get a tarot reading, and I'll look up your chart and I can just read it for you and answer any of your questions, past, present, or future. And join me on Instagram at TangoFairy11. That's enough of my plugging. Bye.